What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sachin. I'm a business coach and spiritual mentor. This channel is all about personal development and living a conscious lifestyle. Some of that real shit. You know what I'm saying?
That real shit.
Today I got my friend Gavin in the house on the mic. Gavin, why don't you introduce yourself for us?
My name is Gavin Stevenson. My brand is Wake Up Fulfilled, and I help people raise their vibration. I help people shift their personality and become a greater version of themselves.
Dope. You've been doing this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah. I've known about personal growth since the age of 11. My first ever program was a program called Mega Memory by Kevin Trudeau. I was like watching QVC. I don't know why I was watching. I don't know if it was exactly QVC, but it was a shopping channel. I was like browsing through on the cable or whatever it was at the time, and I came across this presenter, sales guy named Kevin Trudeau, and he had a program called Mega Memory, and I just really wanted it, and I told my mum I want it, and she bought it for me, and that was my first ever like personal development program, and it teaches you how to improve your memory and recall things quickly, and there was a hypnosis on there as well, and it was a cassette tapes.
Oh shit, that was a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah. So yeah, ever since then, I've kind of been into personal growth. When I was like 17, 18, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's what kind of got me into like doing what I do now.
Okay, so, it's funny, yeah, we were just talking about how people are different on air and off air.
Yeah.
Do you think you're different?
No, yeah, I do. I think when I'm like more like this with people and like I'm just less like more grounded and like this less like up in my head, like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I feel like on camera like I become like more professional, like this alter ego Gavin comes into play,
Funny you mentioned that.
Yeah
I don't actually need glasses.
Yeah.
I just wear these when I'm coaching or hosting a podcast. It's very interesting that you say alter egos.
No, yeah.
Do you do it consciously?
I don't think it's conscious. It's just like automatic. I consider myself a bit of a chameleon. Depending on how the person is, I adapt my energy to who they are, so they can feel comfortable with me. And yeah, just like that's just like kind of my personality. But I feel like I'm different in different scenarios, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have scripted topics or anything, but I'm very interested because you've been doing this for a long time. You've seen a lot of changes coming and going with YouTube, podcasts, Instagram. Like, what's the future looking like for you, for what you want to do, like creating content, how you serve people? What does it look like?
Well, this year, what I've realized is, like you just said, is that personality thing is shifting. I want to be like a little bit more open on my like personal life. So what I'm going to be doing in 2020 is like sharing my journey, like I'm going to be telling people my goals and what I'm going after and kind of showing like my ups and downs, my lows, my highs, and like what it actually takes to like build a business, build a brand, and like how to manifest things into your reality. Because a lot of people in the spiritual community think it's like, woo-woo, like, just visualize the life that you want and it's automatically going to happen. But, it takes a lot of work and, you go through a lot of trials and tribulations to get where you want to be. So I just kind of want to show the journey so people can see what it's like.
You said manifest like this.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about it.
Because a lot of people think like manifestation is, you watch the movie The Secret and then you just visualize the life that you want and you don't really have to take action or change who you are in order to get where you want to be. But you have to work on yourself, you have to grow, you have to expand, you have to, get outside your comfort zone, do new things. And that's what's really going to create the life that you want. I think a lot of people rely on luck and hoping and wishing, and they get confused by people like Abraham Hicks, which is someone that, I used to watch and listen to, but she's more woo-woo. But if you actually look at what she does, she's not woo-woo. Like, she has a business, she has books, she has audio programs, she has all of this stuff, and that's how she makes her money. And, she's mostly teaching, like, just get into the vortex, get into the vortex and you'll get the life that you want. But it's not like that.
Yeah, that's one of my problems with this industry. It's like, I think there's a few different types of, I don't want to say customer, but I guess like there's a few different types of person who wants to buy this type of shit. There's one person who's like, I'm in this for transformation. They got they're taking notes. If they've read a book, you can see them underlining stuff. If they go to a seminar, they want to look at, okay, I probably don't know this stuff, but I want to apply it to my life. That's the person who's for the transformation. Then you got someone who's interested in information. They're sitting there like, been to a lot of seminars, don't know if it's going to work, you know, I probably already know this stuff. And they're not doing shit. They did Tony Robbins, they did whatever, but they're not actually applying what they've learned. And then there's a different type of person who just wetting their feet, like dabbling a little bit, like, oh, let's just see what this is about. And I think a big problem I have with some certain YouTubers will remain nameless. Certain YouTubers, certain podcasts, certain Instagram accounts, like they're pushing shit onto the people who don't really want the transformation. Yeah. They're pushing because it's easier. You know, if I say to you, I got this audio program, you can manifest anything you want in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to want it. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, please.
And it keeps them stuck in the loop, keeps them buying or watching, and, you know, it doesn't really give them like what they need, that kick up the arse. And it's the difference between dabblers and doers. That's what it is. A lot of people are just dabbling, and like if you want to like become a doer, you have to like look at yourself and see what you need to change and grow into. So yeah.
How did you do it?
It's kind of funny when I first watched The Secret. That's what I thought it was like. Oh, you know, just gonna visualize and whatever it was. But then I realized that it's not practical, and so I just did it. Like just start doing and realize like this universe is not just, you know, sitting there and like doing nothing. It's about action. Like if you look at this microphone or like me or the glasses or whatever, right? It's all energy, and the energy is moving and vibrating. So if you're just passive and doing nothing, you will get nothing. Whereas if you become, you know, what the universe is, and you look at life and you look at the trees and you look at oxygen and everything's cycling and circling, everything's taking action right now. And so you need to take action. You need to get along with nature and, you know, synchronize yourself with nature in order to get what you want out of life.
You just saying that is gonna make a lot of people think, oh, but I don't know how to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I kind of get where you're coming from. I think we all use different language to describe these things. But for Joe Schmo, who hasn't got a fucking clue what that means, how can we break it down practically?
Okay, so you need to know where you are. You need to know where you want to be, and you need to enjoy the process of getting there. So you got to get clarity on exactly what you want. And usually for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I want the money, I want the partner, I want this, but it's actually the feeling that you want from it. So you need to identify like why you want those things, what's the feeling behind it, and then realize where you are right now. Are you the type of person to create that? Like, are you being the type of person to have that in your life? Not only that, are you the type of person to sustain that? Right? That's the biggie. A lot of people, what I've done in the past is I've got to a lot of money, a lot of success financially, and then I lost it all, I blew it all, like, you know, because I didn't have the traits to keep it and manage my money and stuff like that. So it's like, you want to become the person that's going to not only manifest it, but keep it and sustain it long term and even grow it. And the next step to that is enjoying the process. You want to have fulfillment. You don't want to be like, hustle grind, you know, and you're not enjoying yourself. You're not enjoying life just to get to some sort of end result and some reward. You get the reward and you're like, oh, it's lost for like 5 minutes. Like, you know, and then you're not happy. If you enjoy the process to where you want to be, yeah, it becomes more fulfilling.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to you on the losing it all thing. I've done that a few times now. Every time I do it, I like, fuck, did it again. But yeah, I think it took me a little bit of time to understand who would I need to be to keep this. And that's why I started, I got very ruthless with who I'm spending my time with. And someone recently, he lives around near where I live, right? So I'm walking my dogs one day, and I had a conversation with this guy, and I told him, okay, look, I do this coaching group. I think it would really benefit you, because we had a really long conversation. It helped him a lot. How do I work with you? Okay, here's how. He goes, I can't do it. I said, all right, cool. That's fine. Every time he saw me from then on, it was like he was having conversations with me, but trying to get me to coach him. And I just said to him, listen, bro, I'm walking my dogs. I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm not trying to coach anyone right now. And he was like, oh, but can we be friends? I said, listen, friendship is reciprocal. I'm going to give you a lot. What the fuck am I going to get in return? Oh, talking my ear off, like giving me a bunch of complaints and shit. I'm not trying to live my life like that. I'm trying to cultivate a strong circle of friends
Yeah.
and colleagues, business associates who raise each other up. And since doing that, like, everything's got way better.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that people are not willing to do. Not the changing their friends. And what I've realized is that there's different levels of consciousness. There's the egocentric level of consciousness, which is people who only care about themselves. Even if they do things for others, they're doing it for themselves. And it's like, you know, the Donald Trumps of the world. Like, it looks like they're, you know, doing all this stuff, but actually they're doing it for their own, like, validation. I'm important, you know, all of this stuff. And then the next level of consciousness is the ethnocentric, which is about family and friend dynamic. And what people want when they're moving from ethnocentric to world-centric, which is the next level, it's like they want to live their dreams, but what about my friends or my family and what they think and stuff like that? That's where the problem comes when it comes to changing your reality or building a business or starting something new. It's like it's scary, and you feel like you know, you're leaving your family behind, you're leaving your friends and all this stuff. But in reality, there's so many benefits for becoming world-centric and doing your own thing, because it actually helps your family in the long run. So, and then the next level of consciousness to that is a spirit consciousness, and that's more about, like, you know, energy and vibration and, like, you know, karma and, like, doing good things for the world in that way. So yeah, I think people get stuck in that, and it's scary. But I was just talking about it with my friend, like, yesterday. You got to change your friends in order to change your life.
Yeah, I think, like, I've been a huge proponent of this. In 2015, I cut off everyone. Like, I'm Indian, right? I have like over 100 cousins and extended family. I just cut it all off, man. It's too much for me. I don't want to, you know, every time I talk to someone, it's like a fucking interview. Like, have you got married? Have you got children? Enough. Okay, done. And from that point, I got very egocentric or ego conscious. Like, I was very much coming from, like, fuck those people, fuck everyone, because I was upset.
Yeah.
When I realized what I was consciously choosing to be a part of. Coming out of that, then I started realizing, like, oh yeah, that's a part of the journey, right? Like, yeah, you got to remove that stuff, but it's me. Like, I've got to sort my own shit out. And I think that's something that the society, there's like it promotes a mindset of mediocrity, right? It's going to encourage you to seek out instant gratification. Don't look inside, all that stuff. What did you ever feel like it was hard to break away from some of these societal norms?
Yeah, a lot of work. Like, recently, I deleted. I recently came back on WhatsApp just to, like, contact you and someone else. But basically, I deleted all my social media, Instagram.
Delete it?
Yeah, delete it off my phone.
Oh.
Even Safari on like in settings on on your settings on iPhone, you can actually go in and, like, go into allowed apps inside screen time, and you can turn it off, and, like, you can't go on. So any app that has infinity, like Instagram, Safari, you can infinite searches, you know. I deleted all of them because I found myself, like, always on my phone, addicted to my phone. It's like, well, that's taken away from my dream, my goals, my time, you know, here on Earth. So it's like I had to do those things. So now I'm used to it. But in the past, you know, I had to, like, when things came to my awareness, I was like, you know, does this benefit me? You know, how is it going to change my life? What's all the benefits of me doing this? And once you start doing it and start realizing it more and more, not to, like, negate or, like, push away family or anything like that, but, like, just finding the balance and seeing, you know, what would benefit your life. So yeah.
I think it's funny, man. The way that things are set up, some people they push the narrative that it's all set up against us. What's your opinion?
You could choose to believe that. It's all about choosing. Like, I choose to believe I have control of my life. I can, well, not full control, but I have a lot of control over my life. And you got to take the steps to, you know, do what you want to achieve, get where you want to be. If you're focused on blaming life, then that's what's going to be a perpetual cycle in your life, and you're always going to see problems in your life. So
playing the fucking victim card every time.
Yeah.
Do you know? But that I say it like that because I did that for years. Like, oh, this Illuminati thing's out to get me.
Yeah. Same.
So what's the point in me doing any of this shit? I might as well just try and enjoy myself as much as possible.
Me too. I used to blame the banks, you know, Illuminati, you know, Rothschilds, all of this stuff. You know, I was thinking, like, what's the point of me doing this if, you know, I'm never gonna win?
Yeah.
Like, you got to think about your life. It's your life, like, and time is ticking every second, right?
Yeah.
So you want to take full advantage of it. Don't focus on what's bad. Focus on what you can make good.
Well, that's the thing. I think these, let's play devil's advocate for a minute, right? If these people are really out to get us, okay, cool. Let's say they are. What do they want to take away from us? They want to take away agency over what you do, what you say, what you think, what you consume, and they want to take away your time.
Yeah.
So, like, I used to work in a bank, right? My time's gone. I'm just looking forward to evenings and weekends and getting fucked up. So they won. They had me. I was playing the little chess game, or like I was playing snakes and ladders. They're playing chess. Like I was fucking around, like trying to get to from here to here, and they're like 17 moves ahead. Yeah. So I was playing their game, and then I realized, like, oh shit, like I'm only doing this thing, giving so much of my time for so much money because I'm trying to compete with ideas of how I should live my life and what is successful. And when I took the 70% pay cut, went to do an admin job, and I bought back my time, then I realized, like, oh shit, this is what they didn't want. Because then when I had more time, I was looking at myself in a more critical way. And that was when I realized, like, that's a fear-based mentality that they want us to have. Okay, they would love for us to believe that there's nothing we can do. But I don't think that they would be trying so hard to push the pharmaceuticals, the foods, the movies, all this stuff, if we weren't naturally powerful. If we weren't, they wouldn't have to do shit. We just sit around like, I'm chill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's definitely 100%. One of the things you said is like, you went back. And I think that's one of the main things that people are afraid of. They got money, or like they're doing well at something, or they spent years in school and like, they got all these grades and all this stuff. It's like, well, I'm gonna like downgrade my living. Like, they're afraid to do that. But is it worth your happiness? Is it worth joy? Is it worth, all this stuff? And that's what you got to look at, and not really look at material things and what other people think of you, because it's all designed for validation. The system's all designed for validation. I got this car, I got this home, I'm married now, I got the girlfriend and all this stuff. Well, what do you really want? You've been told you want that stuff. What do you really, really want? And so once you really figure that out, do some meditation, yin, 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 right? I really figure out what's going on in your head and what's in your heart. Once you figure that out, now you can pursue it and make it happen.
I want to talk about judgment for a minute. Like when you came away from this stuff. Okay, I'll tell you my story first. When I started coming away from this stuff, I started judging the fuck out of everyone. Fuck you, you're stupid, you're drinking alcohol, oh, you smoke cigarettes. I used to do that shit too. I used to smoke like 50 cigarettes a day sometimes and drink a bottle of vodka pretty much every day. And then when I came away from it, it'd only been like 3 weeks. I was like, you're a fucking idiot. Why are you doing this? Did you ever have that?
No, When you learn new information, it's like your ego's like, oh yeah, like I know about the law of attraction. Like I know about manifest. You got to be positive. So I kept on telling them, you got to be positive. You got to think positive and all of this stuff. And like, I was pushing stuff on people, but then I was also looking at people like, oh, look at you, like. So like, I was like that. And then I started getting more into spirituality. And I started learning how to become more pure in my thoughts and my thinking about others, and knowing that everyone, has different paths. Everyone has different upbringings. And so everyone's subconscious and their mind and their emotions have been affected in different ways. And so we have to realize that, where they're at right now is where they're at. And you can't like change them or anything like that. You just got to be the light. And when you become the light, you don't have to change them or judge them or anything like that. They will be inspired by it, and they will make the change if they're inspired by it enough to do that. So, yeah.
I agree. However, it can be a bitch to have that perspective when you're around these people. And I remember so I used to smoke weed every single day. And that, I think, like when I learned about this stuff, I started doing this, I started taking a fasted 3-hour walk. So I wouldn't eat for the whole day, and then I would walk for at least 3 to 5 hours sometimes, just like in nature. And I would be smoking, I would get really high, like while I'm doing it. And I was trying to, I had this idea of like, the higher I get. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I just smoke more weed, then I can detach from these egocentric ideas. And it didn't really work that way. I was trying to hack the system, and I was trying to like hack my growth.
Yeah.
And I guess like Yeah, so with psychedelics, integration is really important. Like any idiot can pick up a fucking mushroom and eat it, but you have to integrate to get the benefit from it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing any of that integration, so I wanted to ask you about like your integration experiences.
What do you mean by integration?
So let's say like you took shrooms or you took ayahuasca or you took like you smoked weed or whatever. You have the experience and then you don't do it again straight away because you need to download, integrate what you've learned, apply it to your life and change from it.
Oh, my first ayahuasca experience was rough. Like, she beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, she beat me up hard. And, you know, it was just a real shock to the system. And so when it comes to doing medicines and stuff like that, I don't recommend everyone do it unless you're ready. Like, you're ready to make a huge shift in your life and then you're ready to do the work in order to, like, integrate it. So after coming back from that experience, I spent time with myself and like figured out like what do I need to change, what do I need to improve, and I got into a space where like I didn't understand like reality. Like I was like, what is this? Where am I? Like what is this experience? And I was like sort of disassociated with who I was, and so it took a lot of shifting. I've done a lot of neutrality shifting and like figuring out like you know what's where and like how to organize my mind in a way where I feel completely grounded here. And so it's hard for me to explain, but basically I just done a lot of internal work to feel comfortable here once again, feel grounded and feel like, you know, it's normal to be living here on earth. So yeah, it takes work. That's all I can say really. I don't really have a specific strategy.
No, I hear that, man, because it's quite difficult to explain exactly, oh, this was my It's not like fucking riding a bike.
Yeah.
But one thing that I find interesting is sometimes people have their ayahuasca experience, and then after that, they feel like this world, so like cities, normal living, is like demonic. You shouldn't be doing it, and like I'm just gonna go and live on a beach forever. Mm-hmm. And I hear that. Like I definitely get where they're coming from, but I think it's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Because like. If you wanna walk the path of enlightenment, it's quite easy to talk about. It's quite easy to do the experiences and I took shrooms or whatever, or like I did my ayahuasca ceremony. But I think the real work is actually like using what you've learned to come back. It's like the hero's journey, right? They talk about like, do you know what I'm talking about?
The hero's journey.
Yeah, the hero's journey. It's basically like the concept of all the popular movies like Lord of the Rings and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's basically like the hero leaves the village where they've come from, everything's safe there. Now they walked out, so they're out of the comfort zone. Then they hear of, there's a dragon guarding some treasure. They go and fight the dragon. They go on this mad, like, you know, the little training montage, like learning how to swing the swords and shit. Then they like fight the dragon, they get the treasure, and they come back to the village and they share the treasure with the people. Mm-hmm. So for someone like for me, the treasure was like, okay, I understood how to get over these blocks that I'd put up in my own mind, mental illnesses, abuses, all this bullshit, and I shared the treasure with the people that are wanting to listen. However, some of what I've seen with people who took ayahuasca mainly is they'll get the treasure and they'll be like, yo, fuck you lot, I'm keeping this for myself. Right. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's interesting. I don't know anyone that's done that, but it seems like they've gone back into the they've gone to egocentric. They're focused on themselves. And so, I mean, when it comes to doing that, like I know some people, what they do is they take ayahuasca and they just go to Thailand or like they go to Bali and they're just like by themselves and they don't want to be. I think they're afraid. They're afraid of like reality and like facing their shit and people and like, you know, building your relationships or healing your relationships or whatever it is that they need to do. Now I know in some circumstances people may have been in like, you know, narcissistic relationship or, you know, they had abuse when they was young or whatever, so they want to like escape that. But sometimes you have to face your own demons, right? Rather than saying everyone's a demon, everyone's bad. If you say someone's bad, what does that say about you? You're judging them. So I think a lot of people need to look within themselves and find out, you know, what's going on there.
That's why I know that now is not my calling time for ayahuasca, but probably not this coming year, the year after. because I would have done a lot of like, I look at it like this, right? I've got like real world work to do, and then I've got like metaphysical world work to do. And like my metaphysical work, that was the priority for the last, like from 2015 to 2018. And then I was like, okay, I'm okay with that stuff now. Let me do some real world work, prioritize that, sort the businesses out. Cool. Then I'll go back to metaphysical. And at one stage, I would like to be able to have a healthy blend of the two.
Yeah, you got balance the masculine and feminine energies.
How do you find your own balance?
I think it's pretty much balanced. My energies. So I went to the extremes. So I went pure woo woo, like I went pure left side, like hippified, and like money would just show up, like doing nothing. And then I got broke, and I was like, oh no, I need to go back to taking massive action. And I went on the grind, hustling like non-stop, sleeping 5 hours a night, just grinding it out. That didn't work for me. Unfulfilled, anxiety, depression, getting ill. That wasn't good for me. So like I figured out, okay, here's the balance for me. Like I think everyone has a different balance. But yeah, you have to find out what works for you. What's your question again? I can't remember.
So we're looking at like, I get where you're coming from. Like you have to make sure your inner state is cool as well as what you're taking action on. But I'm more referring to like, so your metaphysical work, that's got nothing to do with your, okay, well, it probably does have something to do with your business, your relationships and stuff, but like finding the balance between, okay, I'm not working on something like in the real world physically, I'm putting out, like, I'm working on my intentions, I'm looking at what do I want to create in the future, I'm working on like future stuff, bringing it here now, but balancing it with the doing part. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Kind of.
I don't think I'm explaining it very well.
I think I kind of understand what you mean, but for me, what I do is like I just shift my internal world, so everything happens automatically. So like I'm doing the things that have both sides, if that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. For me, like what I did in the past was I was very much here focused. I was only looking at what's here right now. What can I take action on? And I think that fucked with my like inner compass because there's so much you can do right now.
Yeah.
But I did it's like you pulled the arrow back and you just fired the fucking up. You're just firing at a bunch of different targets because this one came up, let's go like that. But I've started to get the balance between so every day I'm not having a good day with this. Every day I do visualization. Every day I meditate. Every day I do like physical activity. And that's helped me to like blend the two and I'm finding a balance. I don't think I've found it just yet, but I'm finding a balance between like how much am I dreaming versus how much am I doing. And I think you do have to have both. Yeah.
And that's what I mean by woo woo when I'm talking about woo woo, like visualizing all that stuff. Like I think you gotta make it like you're doing a morning ritual. You have a process of it being like a automatic thing. And it's kind of interesting you talk about like being only in and out. I think a lot of what these apps, social media, it focuses on like now. It doesn't allow you to think of like long-term pleasure, and you just focus on impulse. And like I had a session, an astrology session with someone recently, and like what came up on my chart, I was like, "You're an impulse person." I was like, "Oh shit, I actually am." That's why I deleted the apps off my phone.
No way.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm getting rid of all of this stuff where I'm impulsive so I can have like more long-term pleasure. And I was actually interested. I really struggled to think more than 90 days ahead, like of my goals and what I want to achieve. But after doing this, making these shifts, I can see further ahead. It's like my mind can like sustain that long-term pleasure and like want to do the work and have the discipline in order to achieve those goals. So.
Yeah, having future sight is very important. But what I've seen is like a lot of people can't see, whether it's like past a certain day count, so 90 days, 100 days, whatever, either that or I can't see myself getting past this certain point, either in my business or in my relationship, whatever. Why do you think this is?
I think that's a limiting belief. Yeah, it's a limiting belief. It's like it's what you believe is possible for you. But when you can shift, you can just change. You can change that by one of the things that I get people to do is a quick exercise, is just like close your eyes and like you just float out of your body and go into someone like who has more success, or you could be like a Tony Robbins or an Oprah or whatever it is, and you float into their body and you feel what it feels like to be them, and feel the emotion that they have around the amount of success that they have. And then like you sort of take that emotion back with you and you keep it with you, and then it helps you actually have those like longer term goals, and it makes you think a little bit bigger and outside the box.
That's interesting. Yeah. Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah.
So I'm reading it again. While I'm on the trains now, I'm trying to make better use of my time. Instead of sitting there listening to music, slapping my leg, I'm trying to like read books. And usually I listen to audiobooks, but on the train, like I just thought, let's try it, because audiobook you can't hear most of the time. So I started to read it again, and I'm on the very beginning, like desire part. And it talks about, I remember when I read it last time, it talks about when you feel like you have what you want already, and then you bring more of those feelings to you, that's a concept that not a lot of people are applying. And I think that's why it's funding the bullshit side of the industry that we're in, because like it's difficult to apply that every single day. So what tip do you have for people who are like wanting to transition from dabbling into doing?
You gotta own your state. Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. You gotta own your state, you gotta own your energy. And so I actually made a video about this. Like you gotta write down a list of all the things that's affecting your emotions, like externally. So everything visually, all the audio, like if you listen to music, kinesthetically, what's affecting your energy, what's affecting your mood on a daily basis. And obviously that's changing your state, that's changing how you feel. And then eradicate the ones that are affecting you the most, or the ones that you can eliminate, and then bring in things that put you in a good state, that are healthy, like good for you. And that's what's going to help sustain like a good state long term. And so it's an elimination process, and then it's a bringing in process of things that make you feel good most of the time. And that's what's going to keep you like productive and focused long term. So yeah.
A lot. When you speak, I can hear like there's a lot of things that have come before this to bring you to this point. So like, what do you think was the most important turning point for you to get you from where you were to where you are now?
I need to think about this one. The biggest turning point. I think for me personally is knowing that anything is possible for me. Because I used to see like other people successful. It's like, well, like maybe I can achieve like half of that, or maybe I can achieve a quarter of that. But now it's just like, well, I believe I can achieve what I want to achieve. Once you believe you can achieve something, you're going to be more action. You can take more action towards it. Whereas if there's resistance and like you're not sure, or like you're in limbo with it, you're not really going to take action. So for me, I think that was the biggest shift for me. Is it's like, even down to my race. Like I thought, like, okay, well, I'm black and like I can't do this and I can't be successful at this. I can't achieve this amount of success. I'm not educated. I've got attention deficit disorder. I'm dyslexic. All of this stuff. I had these like limiting beliefs about myself. But it's when I started believing, no, it's possible for me. If they can do it, I can do it. And I started looking at other people who have like success, who is the same race, who did have like a similar background, like, has been through worse than me. It's like, if they can do it, then I can do it, right? And so it's just believing in yourself. It sounds like, I don't know what the word is, believe in yourself. You hear it all the time, but you have to really figure out how to do it for yourself, and like really owning that, what it is that you want, and you can make it happen. Like you can make it happen, right? Not with any like, external thing. Just like you truly believe in yourself, and going towards it.
How did you cultivate the belief in yourself? Because I hear so many times people are like, oh, I want to believe in myself, but I can't.
Commitment. Like you have to commit. Like in the beginning, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I know I need to believe myself, but you have to. So when I first started my business, I said to myself, I don't care if it takes me 50 years, I'm going to make this happen. So I committed before I even like believed in myself. I just committed. I don't care what happens. I don't care what comes in my way, whatever problems I go through, whatever. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. So I was committed from the get-go. It's just like, going into marriage or something like that. I was married to my dream, right? So I got married first, and then I started believing afterwards. I was like, okay, I'm meeting this block, this roadblock, this trial and tribulation, getting into debt, getting ill, all this stuff's happening, but I'm committed. So I'm just lining myself back to the path, getting back on the track towards where I want to be. And then over time, you just start cultivating yourself and the traits and the personality types and the ideas and the inspiration to get where you want to be. So, yeah.
Someone, I don't know who said it, but someone said, if I told you it was going to take you 18 years to get to the point that you want to be at, would you still do it?
Yeah.
Me and you would say, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I said it to someone, they said, fuck that. No, you're not married. You're flirting with your ideas of success.
Yeah.
But you don't want to put a ring on it.
And
I think that's why a lot of people will look at like, oh, I want to be a musician or like whatever it is. And they'll look at people who've done it and be like, oh, they got lucky.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain to someone what the process was for that person. Because I showed them, okay, you look at him, this is all the shit that he went through.
Yeah.
From the age of 7.
Yeah.
And now you can look at Justin Bieber and say, fuck that guy. Yeah, but do you know he was busking when he was at 7?
Yeah.
And he was on the street just playing guitar. No one gave a fuck about him then.
Yeah.
And they you know what they said to me? They go, no, it can't be that hard.
It's people. That's the thing. That's why with the law of attraction in the community, they don't get it. They don't get it. Like you have that's why I want to show what I'm going through. I want to show people like this is real. Like it's not just woo woo positive thinking, and stuff. You go through stuff and you have to work to get where you want to be. You just need to be committed to the end goal, know where you are, and then enjoy the process to get there. Yeah.
That commitment's a huge thing. I think, like for me, I don't really believe in marriage. It's a long story, but I'm not really down with the idea of like a contract tells me, I don't need that to tell someone I love them.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of being with one person. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And before that, so before me liking the idea of being with one person, I didn't like it, and it's because I was scared of commitment. And the scared of commitment part being like, I can commit to me, but I can't commit to something outside of my control because that's kind of scary. And I realized what effect that's having on my business. And I only made this shift like this year. I started to understand like, my attention's so fucking divided between all of these people. What effect is that having on me? What does that say about me? And I think when I clocked like, oh shit, it's my commitment. So if I am in a stable relationship with one person that's committed, and that's going to provide me stability in other areas of my life too. And my coach talks about this a lot. He's married, he's got a few children, and he's like, dude, there's a reason why like the biggest CEOs and like business people in the world are married. There's a reason. It's not just for fun. Like it's hard. There's a reason why they do it.
It's work.
Yeah, and I guess we can talk about relationships a bit, but like, what's your opinion? Like, what? Yeah.
So I also don't believe in marriage in terms of contract, but I think that there's other forms of marriage. Like when I went to the ayahuasca, there was a couple getting married, and it was like a spiritual kind of marriage, and they done this thing where they like wrapped their arms together, and they had to stay wrapped together for like 4 hours or something like that. Like, and they had to like go, and it's really interesting. It was like one of the most beautiful experiences I've seen in terms of like marriage. The typical like marriages, I don't necessarily agree with that system. But yeah, with relationships and commitment, I was having a conversation just yesterday with someone. She's also like a social media person, and she's just coming out of like a twin flame type relationship, and it's because the guy he doesn't know what he wants. He hasn't committed to her, and it's given her anxiety. And women need that certainty from a man. Especially if they've been dating them for like over like 3 months, they need some sort of certainty that they know this, it's leading to something, long term. And so, relationships, I had my own experience where I was in a relationship. I was like, yeah, let's just like figure it out. Like, let's just like date for a while and see where it goes and stuff like that. I wasn't ready for a relationship. I realize it now. I wasn't ready for a relationship. So basically, after that experience, she was deeply hurt. like it ended up she was really hurt, and then like she even shaved her hair, like she traveled and all this stuff. It wasn't like a toxic breakup. It was just like I can't see you anymore, like I'm not ready for a relationship, etc. And so it was really hard on her, and she ended up getting into a relationship like a month after, and then like she moved in after 2 weeks, and then she got pregnant. Like, so it was like that was a real shock to me. And then from there, I was like, you know what, I'm cutting out all women, cutting out all dating. I'm going celibate. Like,
I've done that too.
Yeah, and so like I've been celibate for a year now, and like I've been working on myself and healing myself, and like because I was always jumping into relationships, and I was just figuring out like why am I doing this, and I realized that now it's like, well, now I know when I'm getting into a relationship that I'm ready for commitment before even like dating. So that's the place that I think a lot of people need to be in, even when you're starting a business. Are you committed, like beforehand, to actually achieving it? Not just like diving into it and kind of figuring out like commit to something long term. For me, it was just like business in general. I'm going to make a successful business, and then I kind of navigated my way into what I do now, which is a fulfilling like style business. So yeah.
That's dope. I think it's really funny how there's so many parallels between successful relationships and successful businesses.
100%.
That's why
100%.
I really this year I clocked. So I was abstinent for almost 3 years, but that's because I had a lot of my own shit to work through, and I didn't want to keep projecting it onto women. Because it's not fair on them. Like, they're looking at the outside thinking, oh, yeah, maybe this is going to be all right. Yeah. They don't know what the fuck's happening in here.
Yeah.
And when I would project stuff onto them, they'd be like, I wouldn't do that to you, though. Like, why are you making these assumptions? And that's when I clocked, like, okay, yeah, I got some serious work to do. After that 2.5, 3 year time of like, I didn't even talk to women. Like, any woman who was like slightly interesting, I would stop myself. I'd judge myself like, no, don't do it. But after like coming away from that, now I've learned so much. Like this year I met some incredible women who've taught me so much about myself. And I'm seeing that me wanting to be in a committed, stable relationship is actually really healthy for, not just for like your energy exchanges, but really for like what we're doing. We're showing up for others, we're serving other people, so we have to make sure we're coming from like a strong foundation. If you've got relationship turmoil, you're not showing up powerfully for your clients. And that's something that I realized this year. Like, the majority of the women I met were amazing, and when I had like a little wobble with one of them, I was like, this is affecting my business. And I never realized it before, how much it actually does affect it.
It's all interconnected, definitely. And that's what I was saying yesterday in the conversation that I was having. I was saying he doesn't know what he wants. He's trying to figure out like his money, his life. And so when a guy doesn't have his purpose and he doesn't have his focus, and then he's trying to take care of a woman as well, it's just like, like you're just like all over the place. And so 100%. What is interesting, when I first started my business around 4 years in, I was invited to go to Thailand and like be mentored by someone who's like a multi-millionaire. And like he said, the first thing he said is break up with your girlfriend. Like he said it straight. He was like nonchalant, like break up with your girlfriend. At the time I was in love, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, and but I understand why he said that now. Like, I understand. You really need to focus and have that commitment in like, starting that business or whatever it is. But yeah, one little thing in your relationship will affect your money. It's all interconnected. How you do one thing is how you do everything. It's all connected together. I
never wanted to believe that. How you do one thing is how you do it. I didn't want to believe it for so long. I was like, nah, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
It's I would say like, oh, that's such a limiting belief system. But I didn't realize how much it actually does translate. And now that I see it, I'm like, okay, cool. I made the mistake while I'm young. That's fine. But fuck, man. Like, I just think sometimes like, yo, if I had been a bit more disciplined, like I could have been way further ahead than when I am now.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I don't think business is for everyone.
Nice.
Just like I don't think marriage is for everyone.
Yeah.
Like everyone's different. And this time that we're living in now, it's really interesting. So, okay, maybe like 50 years ago, fuck being on camera. You and I wouldn't have been allowed to no, not 50 years ago, like 100 years ago, me and you wouldn't have been allowed to walk the fucking streets, let alone be on camera. And now we're in a position where we can make money from our phones at home. That is great, definitely, because we know it's for us. There's some people out here who are, I don't know what the right word is. They're getting sucked into the idea that anyone can do it. And I'm interested to know your point of view on this. Like, yeah, what do you think?
I think you, because I started a long time ago and I know who I was before, like I know you can change a lot. So if you're willing to change, you can do it. I think anyone can do it. But if you're not willing to change, I don't think you're not ready. You have to be ready for the pain, the frustration, the struggles. And again, you can say that's not for everyone, but you can, if you're committed to something and you really want that outcome for a business, you want to make it successful, you want to help a lot of people, then you have to make a decision here, like in the beginning, and figure out, okay, is this something I really want to do? And then like doing the work in order to get where you want to be. So yeah, I think the mind is, one of my NLP coaches, he says, the mind is the most flexible thing in the universe. And so I think people can transform who they are and get where they want to be. But at the same time, it's like knowing who you are in the business. For example, at Tony Robbins' business event, he says there's 3 types of people in business. There's a team like person who's like, he's like, extrovert and like likes managing people and communicating and stuff like that. There's a talent who is like someone like myself who like makes videos and content and creation and stuff like that. And then there's the entrepreneur, someone who's like got the vision, doesn't necessarily like doing the work, but like execute, what's it called? Delegating the work. And so what's important for someone with a talent is to team up with someone that has like entrepreneurial skills or team building skills. So it's just knowing who you are in the business. So I think anyone can start a business, but doing it by yourself might not be for you. You might need to team up with someone else to help facilitate the growth of that business. Yeah,
I agree with you, man. I think anyone can do it, but the journey of you changing into so like there are some CEOs born to be CEOs.
Yeah, they're just naturally. Yeah.
Just like there's some people who are born to run or hit the fucking golf ball. I don't know, whatever. But if I put in 1,000 hours, I'm probably going to be way better at hitting the fucking golf ball. And I know that from experience because this summer I started playing golf. Let's not even go there. I gave up after like 3 months because it's too much. But yeah, I've learned as well. Like, I make music sometimes, right? It's a hobby. I don't want to do it professionally. I like it. I'm just keeping it as a hobby. And I've seen like from when I started making it, it was terrible. It doesn't resemble music. And now I can listen to my shit while I'm on the train. Like, ooh, this is nice. And I think that's something that people can acquire. There was that quote Will Smith saying like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
Anyone can get into this stuff. Anyone can change themselves. But that's like comes back to what you were saying about commitment. Do they actually want to commit to it? I just thought of a good title for this episode, by the way. Gavin's dropping the keys to waking up fulfilled. I like that a lot.
Gavin's dropping the keys.
Yeah, man. All right, so we're coming to the end of the program. Before I ask you the final question, I'm really interested to know, like, we were talking earlier on the way over here about the vegan diet making you ill. That's a very unpopular thing to talk about these days, and I'm glad we're doing it because I like ruffling feathers. But what advice would you have for people who are like watching, let's say, the Game Changers documentary recently, or What the Health, or whatever it is? They're watching stuff online, becoming more conscious about what they're eating, and they're thinking veganism might be the holy grail. Like, this is what I have to be doing.
I mean, we've been taught from a young age like veggies is the way forward. And so when you watch a movie like that, it's like your old upbringing belief system says veggies are good and like it's the best thing for you and all this stuff. And so when you watch a movie like that, you kind of like build that connection in your mind. You're like, oh wow, like this is the way to go. But sometimes it's not like the exact diet for you. You got to think of your ancestry and what they ate. You got to think of the climate that you live in, and like, if you're living in the cold, like how does that affect you? You got to think of all of these kind of things as well. And then if you do a quick search on like YouTube and you type in no longer vegan, you'll see the crazy amounts of videos of people why they're no longer vegan, and they're ill now and they're sick and they're losing their hair and their teeth are falling out and like all this crazy stuff. And and you can say, okay, well, they're just missing their nutrition. They're just missing something or whatever it is. I went through it myself. I was pescatarian for a year. I went to Tony Robbins' seminar, UPW, Unleash the Power Within, in 2010. And he was promoting more of a pescatarian diet. He said, have like some meat on your plate, but most of your plate should be like vegetables and stuff like that. And I was doing that, and I felt completely fine on that diet. But then after a while, I went vegan, and I cut out all animal product. I would say, well, not vegan, but like plant-based. Because the real vegans,
no leather.
Yeah, they don't wear no animals. They don't use anything that's from an animal. So I was plant-based, and yeah, after like 2 years, I got very sick. Then I tried to keep on it. I went to see herbalists and doctors, and got the blood tests and doing all this stuff, but nothing that I would do would work. And then one time I went to an event. It was in the French Alps. We went hiking, and it was like a seminar in the mountains. It was an amazing time. But I was struggling to keep up with everyone else, and one of the guys there basically said, you need to stop this vegan thing and start eating meat again. And I was just like brushing him off, like, no, I don't want to do it. Okay, like, let it go. He was relentless. He literally wouldn't stop telling me, no, Gavin. He was waiting for that strong yes from me. It's like, yes, I'll check it out. And then when I finally said that, he stopped. And then when I had got back from the trip, got back to the UK, I contacted the person, the dietitian, not the dietitian, what's it called? Nutritionist. And she basically got me eating meat again. And soon after that, I started feeling better, like stronger, feeling like more energy. My brain started turning on. I started sleeping better. Like all of this stuff started happening. And from there, like, I just been, back to eating meat. I call myself a flexitarian.
I've heard the term freegan. I like that one. We've actually run out of time. So real quick, last question. What do you want from the rest of the time you got left on Earth?
What I want for the rest of my time?
From the rest of the time you got. Maybe it's 100 years more, maybe it's 20. Who knows? But what do you want?
Just happiness, fulfillment, yeah.
Oh, in alignment with the name. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for being here, man. This was a lot of fun. For everyone who wants to catch you online, what I'll put all your links in the description, but what do you have going on that you want people to check out?
You can add me at Wake Up Fulfilled on Instagram and on YouTube, and we also offer coaching at neutralityshifting.com. Cool.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. As I said last time, this podcast is brought to you by me. I don't have no sponsors or any of that fancy shit. So if you want to support the channel, share this with someone, and we'll see you all next week. Peace.